When I started college, they actually sent us like a decorative tassel, just reminding us that, hey, 4 years from now, this is what you're going to be wearing on your hat. And obviously, situation is different now.
I am a first-generation Mexican-American college student.
It wasn't necessarily a discussion of if I was going to college. It was just more of a discussion of where.
I didn't really know anything much about the city of Chicago.
I came to the US on a softball scholarship.
My major was economics,
business
psychology,
computer science,
Photography, and
studies,
focusing in marketing.
It was like I could see the finish line.
Right before spring break, they sent out emails.
When I left campus on Friday, I left thinking that, hey, I'm going to be back on Monday.
Yeah, there was definitely an expectation for what graduation would look like.
It was the one moment I thought like a lot of my family and friends would be able to see where I've been for 4 years.
My high school in Hawaii, we didn't get like a cap and gown traditional graduation, so college would be the first time I would be able to walk in that.
As a twin, I think it's been difficult for my parents not being able to attend those ceremonies.
I drove back home and they had like a little decorations.
My parents put up banners.
My family surprised me by gathering on Zoom.
I put some makeup on and I wore my cap and gown and just took pictures and celebrated it.
I would rather know virtual event and just kind of have a postponed event.
It was far from the real thing.
The lack of finality.
Feels kind of open-ended.
It was like a bad breakup.
There was no closure.
I think that we all deserve the loud pomp and circumstance that we're just never gonna get. And it's definitely disappointing.
I had a job lined up at DePaul University to work on a violence prevention program with high school students. Unfortunately, given the conditions and it was funded through a grant, the project managers had to make the decision that they couldn't keep a lot of the staff. And unfortunately, I was one of those.
At the end of the internship, they offered me a
I received an
full-time
offer
position.
to work full-time with JP Morgan
But
Chase.
due to the COVID crisis back in March,
So
the
the
offer was rescinded.
We don't know when necessarily we're gonna start.
Kind of feels like I'm back to step one, just looking for a job all over again.
I'm debating about whether I should take jobs that are in the research area that I want to pursue, or, find jobs that will pay my bills.
It's a lot of pressure for me, especially being international and needing a sponsorship, needing an E3 visa.
In January, I took a role as a recovery counselor at a rehab facility working with teenage girls and boys. I am very, very grateful that we have been considered essential. Everybody that they see, including their families, therapists, doctors, are through Zoom. So I am the only contact that these girls have with anybody. I did move back home. A lot of the weight has lifted off of my shoulders from the pressure of having to pay rent. I do have about $25,000 in student loans.
I do have some loans that I do have to pay off.
I have about $8,000 in loans.
$30,000 of debt.
Above $20,000.
We're looking at around $50,000 total.
I have to pay them back starting basically now.
It's a little bit harder now, knowing that in 6 months I could potentially get a bill, and in 6 months we may still just be recovering from this.
I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is that even with, the bigger picture, you really have to be prepared for the unexpected.
Things could change so fast.
There are things that will happen in life that you cannot prepare for.
Personally, I've started realizing the importance of certain things that we take for granted, for example. Internet's a huge one.
It's making me recognize that maintaining relationships is hard. And especially now, like if I want to stay in touch with people, it's on me to do that.
The world's changing as we know it. Like, we're not going back to normal.
I mean, I'm a people person. If I can be hugging someone or in a room with 100 people, I do it. And I'm like, can I even do that anymore?
As long as you have good people around you, like it doesn't matter how hard life gets.
It's giving me the time to figure out what the next normal is and see how I can be relevant to that.
I don't want to forget the momentum that this has built for me.
Maybe I'm biased, but I know that the class of 2020 has always been very hardworking and some of the most driven people I met.
My name is Daniel LaBruz.
I am Taylor Takahashi.
My name is Stacey Torres.
My name is Henry Moskal.
My name is
I'm
Hannah.
My name is Muhammad Zishan.
And I'm
I'm
in
the class of 2020.